Hello everyone. In this presentation, the life and mission of Reverend Myung, part 6, we look at Father's first marriage to Song Choi. We've seen already in the previous presentation, he married her in 1946. The true father was caught up in the Korean War. He ended up in the concentration camp in North Korea. And he was there for 2 years and 8 months. When he came back to Busan, Song Choi tried to connect with him, but at that time, he was still living in a mud hut. But we could see from what she said and her attitude that she only wanted true father to live an ordinary life with her as a private marriage. The true father is the second coming of Christ. But basically she wanted him to give up his mission and just live with her. But he could not do that. He is the second coming of Christ. Here's a true father said, "My wife made matters even more difficult for me. After our meeting in Busan, she and her relatives began to demand that either I quit the church immediately and start life with her and our son, or else give her a divorce. They even came to Seideman prison during my incarceration there to put the divorce papers before me, demanding I place my stamp on them. She stormed into the church at all hours to curse our members. She even threw water containing human feces at members. In the end, as soon as I came out of Seideman prison, I acceded to the demands of her family and placed my stamp on the divorce document as a peace-loving global citizen, pages 133, 134. So this was a situation, sadly, it's a tragic situation, but Song Choi forgot her mission. She abandoned her position as true father's wife or position of true mother, and she was trying her best to make true father give up his mission, which he would never do. Eventually, father married Hak Ja Han in 1960. It's very important to understand the Messiah's mission as the second coming of Christ is to find the bride of Christ, which would be true mother. And so his marriage to Hak Ja Han was for that purpose. Hak Ja Han gave birth to 14 children. But it's important to understand the position of the wife of the Messiah is the bride of Christ. But it's not a position where you're born into. There's a false idea going around that there's a person born in that position, but this is false. There's no prophecy of an only begotten daughter or a true mother born. This position has to be restored by the Messiah. He has to find a person to fulfill this. That's why Father states, before Christ came, woman was labouring as the archangel's wife, but when the Christ comes, the archangel will lose his bride to him. Blessed and Ideal Family, page 318. So there's no one born in that position. There's no prophecy of an only begotten daughter. There's only prophecies of one Messiah coming. That was the case in the time of Jesus and also the second coming of Christ. Because Adam was lost in the garden, so there has to be a new Adam. The new Adam is the person of the Messiah. He has to restore the new Eve. The new Eve will then eventually have to fulfill a responsibility, but she's not born in that position. Again, Father states, the Messiah is in the position of Adam, who has perfected God's love, and thus he comes with the qualification of the original father, hence based on the father who then chooses a mother. Original Chonseong-gyung, page 186. The father very clearly states that it's the Messiah himself who has to, through the blessing, save his wife from the fallen world, in the same way the Messiah saves all of us, all the people on earth, through the blessing on earth. But of course, all blessings are conditional, and so there's an element of responsibility. A person receiving the blessing is not perfected. That's the human portion of responsibility. And it's the same with us, or any person, or even the person he marries. Now, after Father died in 2012, we see a radical change in Hak Ja Han. She totally lost faith in Father, actually. This is a deposition transcript we see. The reason why there was a court hearing at that time, because she tried to sue her son, Myung, who Father made his heir and successor. And after Father died, she tried to stop him in any way, assuming his position. But Father wanted him to be his heir after he died. So in this deposition, we can see what she believes, or what she wants people to believe. In the process to meet me, until the Reverend Myung met me, we cannot say that he did not have original sin. There was indemnity condition to be paid. Were you born with original sin? Oh, because I was born without the original sin, that's why I am the only begotten daughter. That's why God saved me. So this is a total reversal of Father's teaching. A reversal of what Father's been teaching his whole life. The Messiah is the person born without original sin. But by saying Father is born with original sin, that's he denying that he's the Messiah. So Hak Ja Han denies that Father is the second coming of Christ, as stated in the divine principle. As such verses like this: the Saviour of humankind is to be born as a sinless man without original sin, out of a sinful lineage, to save all the descendants of sinful lineages. Exposition of the divine principle, page 390. Of course, he's born in a sinful lineage, because all lineages since the fall of Adam and Eve are fallen under Satan's dominion. So God sends the Messiah, one person born without original sin, the new Adam, and he's to save all the descendants, all the lineages under Satan's dominion. He has to save them all. But he himself is the beginning of the new lineage. And that was the same for Jesus. He was born without original sin, but he could not get beyond the individual level, unfortunately. That's why the second coming of Christ became necessary. Then she claimed that she herself was born without original sin. This is a denial of Father and a false claim that she herself is the second coming of Christ. By saying that she was born without original sin, this means that she considers herself the second coming of Christ, and Father is the person she needs to save. But this is totally false. Do you really think that if Father died when he was young, would Hak Ja Han be able to then marry a man and make true parents and bring salvation to them? Really think about that. She made a false claim. Now, Father speaks about the only begotten daughter in this passage. Although Jesus was the only begotten Son, was there the only begotten daughter who was supposed to be his object partner? History of salvation is the history of restoration. Where is the only begotten daughter? She is a fallen woman. A fallen woman. 10th to the 6th, 2002. This means there is an only begotten Son, and it's the same point. God sends one Messiah to save his wife, restore a family level, society level, national level, save the world. But he's one individual. There's never two Messiahs prophesied. The person in the position of Messiah's wife is not the Messiah. She has the potential to become true mother, but not the Messiah. So it's a serious error to say this. And so Jesus, for example, he was an only begotten Son, but there was no only begotten daughter at that time. There's no person that Jesus has to find who's born as that position. No, he has to himself find a woman, choose her, educate her, raise her up to be in the position of his wife and a true mother. But there's no one born in that position. And the same thing goes for a father. There's no person at the time of father who's born in that position. He chose Song Kil-choi, his first wife, and the idea was she'd become true mother, but she couldn't do it. She couldn't fulfill her responsibility, and she lost faith. And therefore, father chose Hak Ja Han. But Hak Ja Han too is not born any different than any other person. But father educated her, raised her up, with the potential to become true mother. Father's first wife, Song Kil-choi, originally was meant to be true mother. We know this from this verse where father said, "If they had accepted me in those days, then who would have been mother? If Song Jin's mother, Song Kil-choi, father's first wife, had been unable to take that position, who would have replaced her?" Original Cheonseong-gyeong, page 1179. So very clearly father's first wife was meant to be true mother, but sadly she could not fulfill that. And so Hak Ja Han clearly betrayed father. She denied him being the Messiah, and she tried to take his position. She usurped Hyunjin, who father chose to be his heir and successor. And in the further presentation, we'll look at how Hyun Kang became true mother, actually. But this is a very important point because God's ideal is actually to realize true parents on earth. But true parents is an eternal position. The position of true mother has to be eternal object partner to true father. Not a person who tries to steal his position or change his words. Hak Ja Han changed father's words. She even made a fake Cheonseong-gyeong book after he died. She changed his teachings. Hak Ja Han very clearly betrayed father and lost her position as true mother. Even before father died, he said he has no wife, no one in the position of true mother. He said that in the middle of a prepared speech. So very clearly, Hak Ja Han cannot stand in that position as eternal object partner to true father. She's abandoned it. She's stolen that position. And she's disregarded father's lineage, which is God's lineage. The mission of Messiah, as we've said repeatedly throughout these presentations, is to restore God's lineage on the earth. God's lineage was lost at the time of Adam and Eve. We've had Satan's lineage throughout history. So Messiah's main mission, is to establish God's lineage on the earth. And true father did that. That's why he declared Hyunjin his heir and successor. But she has usurped him, and she's stolen his position and changed father's teaching. It's very clearly as a satanic invasion. But fortunately, Hyunjin is maintaining his position as father's heir and successor, and he's representing true father on the earth as he should do, as he does. So in a further presentation, we'll look at how Hyun Kang became true mother. Anyway, thank you for hearing this presentation. In the next presentation, we'll look at how father moved to America, and father started working at world level and sent missionaries around the world. So thank you very much.